Today we got our first look at what's coming in update 1.7.2, which is going live for PC servers tomorrow and then console servers sometime next week. So let's look at everything that's coming in this update. The first thing is the devs are adding 2 new daily reward type systems that are, I assume, intended to get you to keep playing Hunt Showdown on a daily basis. So the first thing is a first bounty extraction bonus. So what this is the first time you successfully extract with a bounty on that day, you get a 15% bonus to Hunter XP and a 20% bonus in Hunt dollars earned. What's interesting about this is every hunter in your roster is eligible to receive this reward. That means if you have 5 hunters in your roster, on that day you can get 5 first bounty XP bonuses, 1 for each hunter. And when a hunter successfully completes this first bonus extraction, they get this little icon, which I will show on screen. And then, as part of this, there's also a daily stack that rewards you for doing it consecutively. So if you log in and complete an extraction, and then you do that 5 days in a row, on the 5th day, you will earn an additional 25 Blood Bond reward. And with that system comes these new accolade cards, which you can see here. The number on the card corresponds to how far along you are in this daily reward system. And the smoking back one is if you've already completed the daily reward, once you extract, you'll see that, oh, you have already earned it. So the next system is Mr. Cherry's Dark Tribute system. And what this is an additional system that rewards you for getting Bloodline XP. So on a daily basis, you'll have 4 opportunities to earn extra rewards just for earning Bloodline XP. As you can see on this graph, which will be in game, at 2,500, 5,000, 7,000, and 10,000, you have the option to redeem an award. After the 7,000 XP mark, you can also use 100 Blood Bonds to automatically reach that 10,000 mark if you want to. The rewards will vary, but you can unlock legendary items, anything that's in the Blood Bond store, and as part of those rewards, they can either be one instance, as in one use of a certain legendary skin, or they can be a permanent unlock. And just a note about the Bloodline XP, this XP isn't spent by using this system, it's just a way to reward you for playing. And so coming with this Dark Tribute system, you can get all the normal Hunt legendary reward items, kind of like with the events where there's Blood Bonds or Hunt dollars or legendary skins or copies of a gun. But also there is this new exclusive legendary hunter that you can only unlock through the Dark Tribute system. And if you recognize him, yes, that is the Revenant before he died. So this is a little different from the first extraction bonus. It's a completely different system, but it also rewards you for playing the game. If this is confusing, you can try it tomorrow to see exactly how it works. Okay, and then quickly we can talk about the upcoming performance changes. Specifically for console, they have fixed that low texture issue. It should be resolved, but if it's not, just report it to them and they will continue to try to fix those bugs. So there are several tentative fixes that they've implemented. They made a blog post about it. You can read about all that and I'll link it in the description too. But let's move on to new equipment coming to this game. Some of it is kind of surprising, actually. So the Scottfield is getting 3 new variants with this update, and these will be in the order that they'll unlock. So all of these unlock after the custom ammo for the Scottfield. The first one being the Scottfield Spitfire. So the Scottfield Spitfire is meant to compete with the officer pistol, though it's not supposed to outclass it. So it fires a little bit slower and it holds 1 less bullet, but it is a very powerful gun. So it has a higher rate of fire over the normal Scottfield, but also an increased recoil because of its snub nose, and it costs 108 Hunt dollars. This seems like a very competitive pick. And then we also have the Scottfield Precision, or the Stockfield, and it comes with an additional stock for more stability and lower recoil and increased accuracy, and it costs 85 Hunt dollars. So now there's actually 3 precision guns: the Nagant Precision, the Scottfield Precision, and the Dolch Precision. So the Scottfield is supposed to be the middle ground between those 2 earlier additions. And then, which I've talked about on the official Discord, the Scottfield Swift, which is the Scottfield but comes with speed loaders, and it can reload 6 rounds simultaneously, but it cannot be topped off. That means if you reload the Scottfield Swift and you have 5 bullets left, you will drop all 5 of those bullets and put 6 new ones in. And in case you were wondering, bullet grubber does not apply to this Scottfield Swift. And then the other weapon variant we are getting is the Berthier Deadeye. It's a Berthier with a Deadeye. Use it if you want to. It still has a pretty high recoil, and it can benefit from Deadeye Scopesmith and steady aim. And the last weapon addition is that the Winfield and the Winfield C are getting access to FMJ rounds. And personally, I think this is going to make the Winfield an even more competitive pick. It's already kind of a head clicker in the right hands, but with FMJ, I think it'll actually be competitive for team fights. So all of that is exciting, but there's also some really cool balance changes that are happening too. So with friendly fire, explosives will no longer deal reduced damage to teammates and oneself. There used to be this arbitrary modifier that reduced the amount of explosive damage you received or gave to your teammates, but that has been removed to prevent more aggressive playstyles that weren't supposed to be working how they were intended to. And then this very big change, dual wielding, is getting nerfed. So this change affects all dual wielding pairs. It significantly increases the recoil, and they showed this, and it definitely is a significant increase in recoil. But as well as this, there is no longer an accuracy bonus for dual wielding and when fanning and levering. So you can't just crouch and then turn into a dual wield sniper like you can currently in live servers. After this update, that should be fixed. However, the increase in recoil to dual wielding does not affect fanning / levering, so don't get that confused. The devs are also tweaking the bow, so it will now have increased damage on a minimum draw, and they increase damage against grunts and hellhounds. This is just to give the bow more utility, so it's more useful when fighting AI. You probably won't notice a huge difference. And then they are also buffing Dragon's Breath a bit, so the overall damage has been increased, as well as an increase to the one-hit kill range. So for long and medium barrels, it'll be between 5 and 6 meters, and for short barrels, it'll be between 3 and 4 meters. This isn't necessarily a huge buff, it's more to make the Dragon's Breath one-hit kill range be a little bit more consistent. So when you are up close to someone, it should kill them in a way that you would expect it to. And then for the explosive crossbow, I'll just go through this real quick. Aim punch is reduced when hit by an explosive. There's less spare ammo. It's been reduced from 1 and then 6 in reserve to 1 and 4 in reserve. The hip fire spread has been increased, and the change to friendly fire explosive damage also applies to this as well. So the explosive crossbow should not be as strong as it was, especially on console. Okay, and then we have a change to trip mines. The poison trip mine now lasts for 30 seconds and it causes intense poisoning. The dev said this isn't to make the poison trip mine compete with the concertina trip mine, it's just to make it a bit more viable, so the poison forces people to either push once they've set it off or retreat to avoid too much poison damage. Essentially, the poison cloud should give you enough time to react once you hear it being triggered. And then, interesting for me, the alert trip mine is being buffed. So now the alert trip mine does 10 burning damage. And so at 11 burning damage is when a hunter is ignited and they have to put out the flames. So one trip mine does 10 burning damage. And if you stack 2 in a doorway, then if a hunter triggers them, obviously they will catch on fire. And they also changed it to where it no longer triggers in water. I'm sure we've all seen those memes of certain throwables and the trip mine working together in water. Okay, and then another pretty big change, the decoy. This is the normal decoy, not the blank fire decoy. will now play footsteps when it strikes a surface, and those footsteps will be surface specific. So if you throw a decoy and it lands on a metal roof, it'll be a metal footstep. The dev said these footsteps are as loud as real hunter footsteps, so you'll have to pay attention, and it is now a bit quieter when you equip, unequip, and throw them. Okay, and then there is a horse change coming. So the devs went in and fixed a bug where horses were not audible at ranges of like 80 meters or more. So now horses will be a more viable way to hear hunters. The dev said if there is no other audio playing, you can hear a horse from Blanchett Graves all the way to docks. So this should be another way you can track down hunters. If you didn't notice it before, well, it's because you couldn't hear it past a certain range. So now that's fixed. Also, they did a pass, so now it's more consistent to kill them with throwing weapons. That's it. And then, one change I'm pretty excited about, even though I use it all the time, the devs have fixed an exploit tied to doors and windows not rendering. So before, maybe you have seen recent videos about it, doors and windows were an indicator on if a hunter had been to a certain location before. That is no longer the case. They should all load at the same time of their surroundings. So that means if you are new to the game, you won't get tracked down by streamers right when you start off. Okay, and then the last section is mostly just legendary content, so I'm just going to show that on the screen while I talk about some other stuff. The devs also talked about some different topics in the Q&A section, so I'm just going to go through those quickly, the ones that I thought were interesting. The stance bug when crouching is being worked on. That's where you are more visible while crouching than you would expect yourself to be. They're working on it. It's not quite ready. Okay, and then the devs also talked about Kane. They have gone to the art department and they're working on how to make him more visible. That's not in this update, but the devs said that the feedback about Kane has changed the way they will implement future legendary skins, so we shouldn't keep running into this problem where certain hunters are hard to see in certain environments. And then they also talked about the roadmap, which is being replaced with more consistent dev blogs and videos. So now there won't be a roadmap on their website, but they will update us, I think sometime in February, about some features that are headed to the game. And then some smaller things. There are no current plans for a snow/rain map. It's just not technologically feasible for Hunt Showdown. It's not that they don't want to, just right now there are no plans for it. And then they also mentioned the 2D replay map. That is a work in progress. They've done some development on it, but there are obviously some barriers that they are running into. So it's still in development, but it is a priority feature, it sounds like. And then, when is the update coming for console? It should be sometime next week, and they will update you if that isn't the case. And then, as usual, my thoughts on the update. I am pretty excited about the Scottfield variants, although now I feel like the Scottfield guide is a bit out of date because I think the variants have put the Scottfield in a unique place compared to the packs, and I don't know, I feel like the arguments I made in that video might be a bit different if I were to revisit it, so I might do that sometime down the line before I get too many guides away from it. So I will be revisiting the Scottfield at some point. As for the dual wield nerf, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the doors and windows no longer being a viable tracking option. It was always the weirdest thing, and I don't know, it was just kind of game breaking if you didn't know, and if you did know, I don't know, it just kind of took you out of it. So I'm glad they fixed that, and hopefully it works. They said if there are bugs with it to report them, so maybe there are still bugs. I am interested about the Berthier Deadeye. I have not done a guide on that, and I might wait until we see what the next Berthier variant is. I feel like there's going to be one more. And lastly, I am curious about these daily rewards. I actually don't play Hunt every day. I play it most days, but not every day. Will these rewards get me to play it more? Maybe I might hop on for one match and try to get those extraction bonuses. I think the Cherry's blood contracts are a really cool idea, and I can see how that will feed into their blood bond changes that are coming. We should hear more about those in February. So I think the Cherry's blood contracts are an interesting first step, and I'm curious to see how those will play when we are doing a seasonal event. Will the rewards like start raining in, basically? Anyway, so that's it about 1.7.2. Again, it should be live on PC servers tomorrow from the day this video is posted. And, you know, if it's that great, I might do an update on my opinions about it. So all those things aside, you should subscribe to this channel, obviously. And you should join our community Discord because there are constantly people looking for groups and we just need more people in there. All right, until the next one.